All right, so to wrap things up, we are going to go in depth into two databases, and then I'm going to point out some different ways that you can get started searching, as well as some of the tools that are available to you in these databases. So we are going to start by going to Browse Databases. And this is going to take us to our A to Z list of databases. So if you have a sense of, if you're familiar with the library databases and there's one in particular that you want to search, this is where you can come to find those. And the thing that I want to point out, so specific databases tend to have better or different search capabilities than our Snap Search. Snap Search is really good at searching broadly across many different databases. And our individual databases tend to have specific tools and different ways to search that can be helpful. So we're going to take a look at science and context. So I'm just going to click on the S. It's going to take me down to science and context. And this is a Gale database. So we can enter just a general search here, but what I want to actually show you is the Browse Topics functionality. So I'm going to go over to Browse Topics, and I already know that I'm interested in global warming. So I'm going to scroll down the list of G's. This is a list of topics in alphabetical order, and they tend to be pretty broad, high-level topics. And I'm going to show you why that's kind of helpful. So if I'm interested in global warming and climate change, clicking on one of those topic areas is going to give me an overview of the topic. So this is the topic overview here. If I wanted to read more, I could. It's going to break out this topic area into all of these different resource types. So if I'm looking for somewhere to get started and I want to scan some information and I kind of want it served up on a beautiful platter, this is a good place to start. So you can see their academic journal articles. If you're looking for images for your project, you can find those here. Some reference articles and news articles, and then it pulls out featured content. So I'm going to click into this one here. And so this is an encyclopedia article, which I believe qualifies as a secondary resource. So if your professor is good with you using encyclopedia articles, this could be helpful. But what this does that's really useful, I think, is it gives you an overview of some of the terms and some of the highlights of this topic area. So it talks about global warming and the increase of the average surface temperature. It also gives you a list of related subjects. So if you're trying to narrow down what specifically it is you're interested in researching, this can give you an idea of some of the main topics. So if you're interested in surface ice melting, this can be where you start with that. The other thing it does, and this is going to be true of many resources, is that if you scroll all the way to the bottom, it gives you a list of the resources that they use. So if you're like, oh, okay, well, I want to know more about climate change being demystified. So say you think that source is interesting. You could go look this up in our databases and see what else you can find. It also shows you the websites they use, so this can be a good jumping off point. And then it also gives you the source citation. So if you are getting ready to put together your works cited, or what we actually recommend you do is as you're going along and you're finding sources, whether or not you decide to use them, you can collect them. So you can start by saving this into a document so that you have access to it. And at the end, when you're ready to put together your works cited, you're not scrambling to find what resources you use. So there are a couple of different ways. You can copy and paste this, and it gives you several different citation options. I believe your professor is asking you to use the MLA, so you would just copy and paste this into a document and you'd be good to go. You can also find that information here. So under this Cite button, again, it gives you that information. So if you don't want to scroll all the way to the bottom, for example. You could send this to yourself. So if you wanted to send this article, you could save it to your Google Drive, or you could email it to yourself. And that would be really quite helpful. All right, so that is science and context in a nutshell. And again, I just want to point this out as a way to find some basic information really easily, to get a good overview of your topic, and to start finding some ways to dig a little bit deeper into that topic area. I am going to jump back to the library homepage so that we can take a look at Snap Search next. So we're going to continue with that same search term. I'm interested in global warming. All right, and so I get about 400,000 results back. And I just want to point out a couple of things. So when you do a snap search, it defaults to a keyword search. And what this means is it's searching for those specific words in the title or body of the article that you're looking for. And just to take a look at some of the search results, you're seeing video recordings, ebooks, books. If you scroll down, there'll be journal articles. So there are a couple of different ways that we can start narrowing down our search. So if we wanted to do an advanced search, we can add some additional search terms in here. So we could say global warming and fossil fuels. So perhaps we're interested in the impact of fossil fuels on global warming. So we can enter search. And this takes us from 300,000 to 11,000 results. And again, you can see some of the different sources that we're getting. The other thing that I just want to mention briefly, so I told you how we were doing a keyword search here, and that searches for those specific words. If we were interested in searching what the article is about, like specifically the way an article or resource has been tagged, we can look at these subjects, these subject areas. So I'm going to jump into this one for an example. So this article has been tagged with these specific subject terms. So if I wanted to find all articles that are tagged global warming, I could click on this, and it's going to give me a search with different search results. So our initial search for global warming gave us 300,000 results, but this search for articles that are tagged with global warming gives us 135,000. So just some different ways to search. This can also give you a good idea of topic areas to search once you get started within your topic. I want to talk about a few other things. So again, going back to some of the tools that are available. So I'm gonna click on this green hyperlink, and once you're on this page, I just want to point out these tools on the right hand side. So again, you can send this to your Google Drive, you can email it to yourself. So I would put in my email address and I could select the citation format that I want. So I wanted MLA, and I could send that to myself. I can also cite this. So if I just want the citation, if I just want to copy and paste it into a document, I can get that information here. So I would just scroll down to MLA, and I would copy and paste that. If I wanted to save a link to this, I want to discourage you from using the URL up here, and instead use the permalink, because it will give you a direct link to this article. All right. And then finally, just going back to our results list, I want to show you one more thing. So we talked a little bit about using the advanced search, so entering additional search terms to narrow down your search. So we're just going to enter fossil fuels again. Fuels, enter search. Just going to think about it. All right, so then on this left side, these are some of the other ways to limit your search. So, we talked a little bit about currency. So if I wanted to make this information that's only been published in the last 20 years, I'm going to modify that publication date. All right, we're at about 4,000 results now. The other things I can do are limit by source type. So, if I specifically wanted something that was in an academic journal, I could limit it by academic journals, and I would be able to take a look at those here. So hopefully this gives you a sense of how to get started using the library's databases. And again, if you have any questions at all, do not hesitate to reach out. We're happy to walk through some of this with you. So I hope this has been helpful. Have a good day. Bye.